everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Commerce Unpacked. This week, we'll be sitting down with our friends at Lucky Orange to explore tips on optimizing your on-site checkout experience for global audiences, keeping with our theme of going global for this quarter. We're really excited to kick this one off. Before we dive in, let me actually get these slides up. One minute. Sorry, technical difficulties here. Awesome. Okay, so let's start that again. Thank you everyone for tuning in this week for Commerce Unpacked. We'll be sitting down with our friends at Lucky Orange to explore tips to optimize the on-site checkout experience for global audiences, keeping with our Q2 theme of going global. For those of you who haven't joined us before, my name is Gina Ellison. I'm the Director of Partner Marketing here at ShipBob. For those of you new to ShipBob, we help brands fulfill their orders across all sales channels globally. We work with businesses of all sizes, ranging from Fortune 500 companies to the fastest growing D2C brands, to people who are just getting started, providing them access to best-in-class supply chain capabilities. We help you optimize fulfillment operations in your own facilities as well with our warehouse management solution, or you can outsource completely to one of our 50 plus fulfillment centers around the world. We're trusted by thousands of brands. We offer affordable fulfillment strategies and seamless omni-channel connectivity. Before we dive in, I'm going to highlight some of the things that happened this week in e-commerce. We saw a lot of themes around consumer spending, supply chains, and some of the biggest platforms. So one brand that you might be familiar with, or the wearable smart ring company, it actually announced it will be selling on Amazon, which is its largest retail expansion to date. They'll have their full selection of rings and accessories available to U.S. shoppers through its own branded store. Previously, the company largely sold D2C only, and we've seen a lot of brands be very passionate about this stance to keep the experience only on their website. So this is the latest proof that you really have to sell everywhere to meet your customers. The next big story is Target is actually holding its Target Circle Week, which is a sale currently happening from April 7th through April 13th. They're putting hundreds of thousands of items on sale for members only, and it is their version of kind of the Prime Day sale. So really interesting to see another big retailer partner test these large sale days strategies. And then last but not least, always a big story, even though they are facing a potential ban in the US, Earnest Analytics actually found that TikTok is dominating social shopping. By February 2024, they have sold over 68% of total social shopping GMV. By comparison, Instagram checkout, Facebook shop, and Flip apps combined gross merchandise value was less than 1% of the market. So if you haven't gotten started selling on TikTok, now is the time to start. We have a team of TikTok fulfillment experts and TikTok shop experts that can guide you through the process. So if you're ever curious, you can visit our website and check out our TikTok page. So without further ado, I'm really excited to introduce Molly Statz, the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Lucky Orange, a globally renowned CRO toolkit trusted by over 450,000 1,000 websites. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Her dedication to empowering businesses of all sizes to harness the potential of customer experience online is evident in her efforts to cultivate meaningful partnerships with like-minded companies. And we are so happy to partner with Lucky Orange on so many of our co-marketing initiatives. So Molly, thanks for joining us today. We're really excited to have you. And without further ado, I'm going to give you the stage.
Awesome. Thanks, Gina. I'll go ahead and share my screen here so we can get started. Thanks, everyone. I'm happy to be here today and to talk to you, really spend some time talking about how segmentation can really level up your e-commerce business, especially across the globe. Like Gina said, my name's Molly Statz. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Lucky Orange. For those of you not familiar with Lucky Orange, like Gina mentioned, we're a suite of conversion rate optimization tools. And our tools will really allow people to understand what's happening on their website. So while you may think traditional analytics tools like Google Analytics, those can be very helpful in telling you potentially how long people are staying on your site, what pages they're visiting. But where those tools really fall off is really understanding that visitor behavior while they're on their page, where you're clicking, where you're scrolling, how you're engaging. So that's where Lucky Orange can step in. So we work with hundreds of thousands of e-commerce brands across the globe to really understand that visitor behavior. So anyone that is looking to make money off their website can and should be using Lucky Orange. Without further ado, let's get started on the topic you all came here for. So I want to take a minute to talk about segmentation, and this may be starting at the baseline or the ground level for a lot of you, but I think it's good to kind of lay that foundation, so bear with me here. What's segmentation? Essentially, segmentation is taking any group of cohorts or visitors on your website and identifying similar characteristics about them. So this can be organized and segments can be defined in a lot of different ways. And you can see that here on the screen. You can define segments by locations. So are they from the United States, from Australia, from Canada? You can also take that a step further and say you have UTM campaigns going. You can really identify different segments based on your UTM parameters. And even further, kind of alongside that with the UTM parameters, sources. So are people coming to you from Instagram, from TikTok, from your Google PPC campaigns? Those are some of your more, what we would call more traditional ways to segment, and maybe a little bit more straightforward. Really, the next level we want to get to, though, when it comes to segmenting your audience is really understanding those visitors potentially that converted and those visitors that didn't convert. And that can really help you understand maybe what's working on your website and what's not working on your website. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. What's segmentation good for? Segmentation can be good for a lot of different things. And let's start with maybe what can seem to be the very obvious one, budgeting. If you have strong segmentation and you understand what different audiences and how they're performing, you can allocate your budgets appropriately. So if you know you're seeing a big uptick in customers from the UK, maybe you potentially reallocate some advertising dollars or some marketing spend there. If you see there's an audience that's struggling and they've traditionally been successful in the past, maybe some dollars go there. If you see an audience that's just not converting for you for whatever reason, maybe you retake those dollars that you would have spent there and reallocate them to an audience that maybe is better performing or has a higher AOV. That kind of goes into the next point of focusing your advertising efforts. And then in the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about a specific example of how advertising efforts can be impacted by good segmentation. But if you understand what's working with certain audiences and say your Instagram ads are performing really well, you can focus more of your advertising and campaign efforts against that. If you understand a certain segment of your audience likes one of your products more than another segment, you can target and personalize those campaigns to make it make sense to the audience that you're focusing on. It also helps tell you what's next. What campaigns should you start running? What areas of the world should you be focusing on? What's working and what's not working on your website? It really, with strong segmentation, you can really understand where the future roadmap of both your products and your company should be going if you understand what your customers and those specific segments of your customers are looking for. And again, goes without saying, sets you up for long-term success. If you have a strong understanding of your different customer segments, then you can understand when you may or may not need to pivot certain business or pricing strategies. You also need to understand that the long-term success is predicated on you going back to those segments. What may have worked 6 months ago with a certain segment may not work again. So having a constant and complete eye on what you're segmenting and how you're segmenting it can really help you set up for that long-term success. So you spend all this time segmenting, whether you're segmenting by converting visitors or you're segmenting by regions of the world and what's performing. Now you got to analyze it. And I'm sure it's not going to be a shock to anyone on this webinar that year over year e-commerce sales have grown over 8%, while the in-store sales have grown just over 1.1%. What does that mean for us? More customers coming to our website, more data to consume, which means more opportunities to properly segment these customers to understand what's going on. One area you could check if you're going through segmentation exercises, are you starting to see new customers or new visitors from a new channel you may not have previously seen? Are people coming to you through Instagram and you never have seen that before? That can give you some direction on maybe your audience is shifting how they're coming to you and how they're hearing about your products. One thing we've noticed, particularly in a Lucky Orange example, is there were influencers in the world on social media that were talking about Lucky Orange and promoting Lucky Orange to their blog followers or their customers, etc. We were able to actually reach out to those influencers because we were segmenting our audiences based on traffic sources, reach out to those influencers and actually put together really strong campaigns that further amplified our presence with those influencers and helped improve our conversion rate overall online. So again, you can also watch session recordings specifically to those visitors that did and didn't convert. And one interesting thing to look at, especially if you're using promo codes, maybe you notice that your visitors that converted are all using promo codes. That's something you can consider as a part of your strategy and also segment off of that to be able to further understand how those using promo codes are converting at a higher rate. This could be something you applied across your entirety of your business. Like I mentioned, this next slide, we're going to walk through an example. And in this example, we'll highlight a store that specifically sells jeans, but they're starting to dabble in a little bit of complementary items like shirts or shoes. And right now they're running a Facebook ad campaign that's promoting specifically jeans. Let's take a look. So here, and actually let me restart this video for us. I want you guys to be able to get the full picture here. So here in this video, what you'll notice happening is a session recording. And in this session recording, this audience came to us from a Facebook ad specifically promoting these jeans, the Sean jeans. You can see from this visitor, they're spending a lot of time looking at the jeans. So the ad was successful in its attempt to get you to the page and review the jeans. But let's see if the ad was successful in getting this visitor to convert. Again, you can see this visitor spending significant time. Then as they scroll down your page, which we recommend all good e-commerce websites have, you have a you may also like or recommended products. They're actually clicking into that section and they appear to be interested in this denim shirt, the Casey. They're spending time reading about it and actually highly engaged, which means you may be onto something and have piqued their interest here. Again, it's interesting because the Facebook ad you used to get them to your website was exclusively about jeans. And they seem to be highly engaged with this denim t-shirt versus what they were from the jeans. They're scrolling in, they're looking at the product detail. So again, this shows you a very engaged visitor simply from their session recordings. They select their size and look at that. They're adding it to their cart. So if you're segmenting these visitors that are based solely on those visitors converted, what you would see here is the segmenting off of Facebook visitors that converted. You can see that maybe while they may be interested in your jeans initially, what they're really interested in is these denim shirts. From there, you can take that information and adjust your advertising campaigns to potentially use a combination of jeans and shirts, or maybe try specifically shirts for these visitors coming through Facebook. This is how the power of session recordings, along with segmentation, can really scale up your efforts and can make slight changes to your copy, to your creative, to really resonate with those audiences more. So it doesn't stop there, and really how we bring this all together. Some questions you really need to consider as far as segmentation goes is, how do your segments overlap? Do you notice that your audience from Mexico and Canada have similar behaviors? Are they checking out on similar products? Are they interested in engaging in similar ways? Maybe what you're doing, one campaign that you were going to just do for Mexico, maybe you can rinse and repeat that with Canada since they have similar behaviors. That's something that can save you time, money, and effort when you think about targeting those specific audiences. Understanding what your segments do like, and maybe more importantly, what they don't like, is also a big part of how segmentation can be powerful. In the last example, you saw that you thought all your Facebook visitors would be interested in your jeans. From there, you understood maybe they're actually more interested in your shirts. So that helps them get to checkout faster. Or if you saw them abandon altogether, maybe they're simply not interested in any of your alternate items. So you should focus on the jeans. Understanding what these segments do and do not like can really help you create a more personalized experience. And what other segments have been historically attracted to this? So if you see, for example, that you have an audience that's really, really interested around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and one of your particular product lines, maybe for the future, you set your lead sales and your campaigns around that leading up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Again, by understanding your audience, you can segment and get them on a path to conversion quicker. So I will stop with there and stop sharing. I will leave on my slide, I guess, for a few seconds, my contact information so you guys can get a hold of me. But I just want to emphasize that segmentation, while it can seem very simple, can have really strong impacts in the decisions and things that you make across your team. So with that, I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and then we'll turn it back over and Gina, and see if there were any questions that came through the chat, or if there's anything that I can help answer or clarify for anyone.
Hi, Molly. That was so insightful. I'm not seeing any questions coming through this chat, but I think that the Lucky Orange dashboard is obviously so robust, and there's so many things that you can do with it. But how easy is it to set up events and key events in the platform?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and something, if there are key events that you want to segment off of, very simple. It's a very simple user interface, and something I think you guys should be doing across any of the tools you're using is, what as a business matters most to you, key in on those events. Whether it's a certain AOV, whether it's certain products that were added, whether it's from a specific country or a specific campaign, what matters most to you, and then dive into those specifically. But it's very easy within the Lucky Orange interface to be able to do that. And again, pick the key events, have those conversations before you head into any campaign, enter a new market, do any analysis, what matters most to you, and then you can really dive in and splice things in the data to help really inform the decisions you're making moving forward.
That's a great answer. Another question I had, one thing we see a lot, especially during the holidays, especially recently as brands are looking to increase margins, is in lieu sometimes of like a big discount, they'll offer free shipping. But determining whether or not free shipping is actually moving the lever is challenging for a lot of brands. So is that something that Lucky Orange could help, provide insight to? Like, is free shipping the way to go? Is a discount the way to go, especially as we approach, I can't even believe I'm saying it, but like the spring and summer holidays?
Sure. No, I think one of the interesting things that we've worked with a lot of our e-commerce customers on is that exact scenario, Gina. And for example, we would take a session recording, and you watch session recordings of people that both converted and don't convert. And we've noticed that sometimes on the checkout page, they're getting ready to check out, and they actually see a shipping charge of $5.95 or $10.95 or whatever, and then they abandon cart. Or they'll click into your shipping policies and notice that you can tell where they're clicking, where they're scrolling, and you notice that they seem to be really spending a long time if it says 1 to 2 weeks or 5 to 10 business days to arrive, and then you see them abandoning your cart. You can take things like session recordings and see that that may be a problem, and then run something like an announcement or a pop-up that says, if you see someone lingering on your shipping page too long, or if you see someone, scrolling over the shipping costs in your cart, fire an announcement that does give them a promo code for free shipping, or does offer them, something in additional to what they're doing, because clearly they're struggling on your shipping costs. So that can be one way that you can dive into session recordings and actually watch recordings of people on your checkout page, or see if they're going to your shipping policies to understand, hey, do my customers that aren't converting need something to push them over the edge? That can be a good way to do it too.
Okay, that's really interesting. And then, as we talk about optimizing checkout pages, sometimes some people are on the fence on, like, do I put less information on there or more information? Do you think, especially with a product like Lucky Orange, it behooves brands to actually make those shipping policies clear, whether it's, linking off to a shipping policy page, or, it seems like if you have the opportunity to have someone click something, you'll have more insight. That's clearly what they're looking for, versus I know we have ship promises and, automatic shipping charge, modules that can be added, especially with, advancements to things like shop promise. So would love to hear your insights there on, just what kind of information should be on a checkout page, if there should be any opportunities to click out, because obviously we never want to impact that conversion rate.
Of course. I think you're keying in on something all e-commerce stores, have a challenge with. And unfortunately, there's the stat out there that 75% of e-commerce carts get abandoned. And that makes us all pause a little bit and swallow, because that's a high number. And one of the reasons that's cited for that is their vague or unclear shipping policies. So I think it's ever more important. And again, it matters, but it's different between businesses and how you approach it. But that's what's cool about a tool like Lucky Orange or using other A/B testing tools, is you try one approach with your audience. Does that work? Does that not work? Are you seeing, a higher conversion rate? Or you try a different approach, and you can do that. But vague or unclear shipping policies, return policies, anything like that, we can see majorly impact conversion rates. So how you tastefully and tactfully incorporate that into your buyer's journey is something that probably varies business to business, but we do know it impacts it. Another way that we've also seen e-commerce businesses kind of remove that uncertainty or that anxiety they may feel, their customers may feel, is the challenge with e-commerce stores is brick and mortar stores. You have a person in store, right? So if you're confused about, hey, do you have this in a different size? Could you order me this from a different store? You can go directly to that sales associate and get your questions answered. E-commerce stores don't have that advantage. So a lot of times what we see e-commerce stores do, especially on their checkout page, especially on their shipping policies, is implement a live chat solution. And they can have a trigger that says, this person's been on our shipping page for longer than 10 seconds. This person has been on the checkout page for X amount of time and hasn't checked out. You fire an auto chat invite that allows you to say, is there anything I can help answer for you today? Are you confused about something? What can I do? Or even offer that promo code or discount like we talked about earlier. That can be really beneficial for taking the muddiness or uncertainty or anxiety that the customers may have and giving them that direct access to a live person.
Again, interesting insight there. Digging in a little further on some of the strategies that you just presented on the chat box and things like that, looking at the Lucky Orange integrations, I know most of your integrations are clearly platforms, right? Everything from Shopify and BigCommerce to WordPress. So is there a way, that brands using Lucky Orange can create triggers or can work together with some of the insights that Lucky Orange is triggering to, push that chat notification, or send that discount code. I know we work together, as I said, on so many amazing co-marketing projects, but wanted to hear a little bit more about how you work with some other technology partners.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question. And I mentioned Google Analytics at the beginning of the presentation. If you already set up on Google Analytics and you already have the events you care about, you know what you want to happen on your website, Lucky Orange has an integration with Google Analytics. You can pass information, either Lucky Orange events to Google Analytics or Google Analytics events to Lucky Orange. It's set up, it's straightforward. You don't have to do any work, which is really nice, because I know a lot of people invest pretty significantly in their GA setup. So that can be a big relief. We also have partnerships with A/B testing, like I mentioned earlier, with Optimizely. So if you're trying to understand, different things, and you're trying different variations of pages and different events that are happening, we have an integration with them. Essentially, any events you want to pass in through Lucky Orange, you're going to be able to do that. We have ways to pass in custom user data, custom events. So whatever your business cares about most, we can get that to show up in Lucky Orange. And again, you can create triggers for announcements, for surveys, for chat, all based on the events and things that you care about most. So as you can appreciate, Gina, and what we all talk about a lot is it's an ecosystem, and everyone's working in different platforms, different things. So we have to make it as easy on people as possible to get the information where they want, when they want it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I know at ChipBob, a lot of the ways we work with partners is just sending data to the platforms themselves, and then them being able to pull it from there. Again, it is all about making things easier and, of course, more cost effective, because it is expensive to build custom integrations, as we know. Last question, and then we will up, Molly. I appreciate your time today. Like, what is the number one thing that brands can do today to set themselves up for success for the rest of 2024?
Yeah, I think today is, first thing is, I keep, repeating this, but decide what your business cares about most. And if you care about entering into new markets, set yourself up in a way that you can track and monitor how your go-to-market strategies are going there. How are the visitors that are coming to your website from those markets engaging with their website? Where are you seeing struggles? And I think that's the key, to have that true North Star from anything that you're heading onto, whether it be entering new markets, whether it be expanding within a current market, whether it be introducing a new product line, that sort of thing. Really understand what your North Star is that you're going after, and then build backwards from there. Because if not, then you can get lost in a lot of data that can really tell whatever story you want it to tell if you don't have that direction that you're headed. So I would say that's my one key takeaway is start very direct to where you're trying to go, and then it can help you. Because I know, and I'm sure you do, Gina, the data can be overwhelming, and you have so many things you could do, so many directions you could head. But if you can focus in on that true north, then it makes it easier to dilute and dissect the data in a way to support what the business and what you're trying to do.
Great way to wrap it up today, Molly.
Perfect.
Again, thank you so much. Everybody, please check out Lucky Orange and join the hundreds of thousands of brands already using them. That's it for this week's edition of Commerce Unpacked, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.